can expect from just about every single YouTube live I do. Number one, cutting edge content about how to show up more authentically and make your life better and your business better. And two, laser coaching for people who want to step into what I like to call the warm seat. I don't want it to be uncomfortably hot for you. But you can kind of think of me as like a dog following a scent. I will take you through my process of emotional inquiry, and I'm here to ask questions and help you hone in on and untangle whatever thoughts and feelings are impacting you right now on whatever topic we're talking about. So it's a fine line between inviting someone to open up to me and like poking too hard and to make them shut down. I do my best to meet people where they're at, trust my instincts, and follow my aliveness. Please remember that this is a YouTube live and it is being recorded and it will be used to help spread the word about my business and offerings. So although I'll do my best to create a safe space for you to show up, it's really up to you to decide if what you want to talk about or bring up would be more appropriate to do in a one-on-one conversation with me. So that said, I am thrilled that you are joining me today. I've got my awesome assistants on the call to manage the chat and field your questions. If you want to submit a pre-recorded question or participate live, you can go to wendygarrido.com/help and fill out the form. In the meantime, hydrate if you're thirsty, pee if you need to, take a long, loud sigh if you can get away with it, and settle in. Hello and welcome to this YouTube Live where I have an odd echo going on, which is still a little distracting. But the topic of today is the surprisingly small impact of touching the lives of thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. And I'm here with my dear client friend. I don't even know what else to call you. It's like soulmate, sister, client, friend, something. Beth Amine. So,
hi everyone.
And I wanted to talk to you. I felt like it was a really good topic for the two of us to talk about because we both have had ways. I mean, I think this is true for everybody, but I know for us in particular, like I've had a huge impact on people I don't even know about. And yet, it reminds me, I always think of I don't know if it's a Buddhist saying or whatever it is, but where it's like, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And it feels like that to me, where it's like, before we're impacting people, like we still have to figure out what we're doing to make ourselves happy. And then we can write a book and we can have impact on people. But we still have to figure out, what are we going to do to make ourselves happy today? What do we need? So, got any thoughts on that so far, Beth?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's just a never-ending process because all there is consciousness. It's so funny. Unrelated to your topic, I woke up this morning and I wasn't necessarily feeling aligned or all that cheerful or grateful about all the things I had, and I went, okay, let's just like get into this until you start feeling good again. And I had to go through a process of thinking about this and thinking about that, and then, oh, I can reinterpret that. Oh, wow, now I'm feeling the flow of life again. Now I'm feeling happy. And it just really struck me, even like unrelated to talking to you today, that really all we have is this consciousness, and that it's just there for us to create with constantly. And you have to go back to, no matter, that's right, your work in the world or your success in the world.
Well, and I think it's what
that's
you're
all that we really have, and that's all that life's about.
And I like the idea of the flow of life, because it's not like a tree ever gets to a point where it's like, okay, I'm done growing now. Like, as long as it's alive, it's growing. And so we have this idea that, oh, when we hit this income mark, or when we hit this status of our number one bestseller or whatever it is, that it's like things are going to categorically change. But they don't. It's not like I wake up and I'm like, oh, well, I was feeling anxious about things, but then I remembered I wrote this book and I helped all these people and now I don't feel anxious anymore. Like we can connect to the gratitude for that, but it doesn't categorically change like what we're doing with our life every day.
So you're saying that no matter that external things are not what is going to provide a stability of feeling good or happiness. That there's always the next thing to accomplish, and
Right.
which is
Which is
you know,
on the one hand, I'm
yeah,
like,
it's
it it seems so obvious, but on the other hand, there's a part of us that is always like, yeah, but the thing that I'm after, that thing, that one's going to make me happy. Like what everybody else is seeking, they have to find their
oh yeah.
happiness, but I really need this one thing sometimes.
Yeah, it's so true. And I guess that's how we're culturally trapped in the past living and future living. And I had this sort of interesting, I don't know, cosmic experience or something, where I mean, I was just sitting there. It wasn't like it was anything special, but I had a perception of the now moment and just living the now moment, and that it's ever changing, and that's all you've got to do. I mean, well, that's what we've been taught forever, but I actually had a perception of it inside my being, that there's this beautiful, ever changing now moment. And if you can be satisfied while still expecting more, then you're in sync with that. Uh, and that's like all there is. So
Yeah.
it's not when you get that thing out there. Although getting those things out there certainly adds to your life. I mean, oh my gosh, but it's not, as you say, where the elixir lies. So yeah, good point.
Yeah, and your ever changing now moment reminds me. My son's name is Siddhartha, as you know, but it was
Uh,
named after the book by Herman Hesse was my one of my favorite books when I was in like 8th grade, I think. And
oh yeah,
it's in there, I think, that they're talking about the river that is ever changing, but always stable and right there. And
yes.
that's the vision that I always have. And I think every fucking time I sit down at a river and I'm looking at it, I'm like, how is it that so much water is flowing over this rock and yet there's this same little hump of water over the rock all the time? It's like this constant change, and we are constantly changing which now moment we're in, but we're not changing the thing that we are doing, or like what we need to do in that moment, or what the flow of life through us in that moment, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a perception of the eternal. That right there. I would say that pretty much identifies a description of that. And that's our life as human beings, you know. I mean, it said we are eternal beings. We have this consciousness, we're connected to everything. And and that there's those two things going on at all times, that flow of the now and that sense of the all that is. And yeah, wow. Is it Sunday? We sure got deep fast there,
It is
Wendy.
Sunday. Well, I know, and we
Not that
didn't.
that
I'm going to
matters.
backtrack because we didn't really introduce ourselves much or each other, and I
Uh,
don't really like doing introductions. But I was thinking one way to introduce it would be to talk about the things that we have done that we know have impacted people that we may or may not feel the impact of on a daily basis. So for me, I published a parenting magazine in 2007 and 2008 with a circulation of 30,000 copies. And so by the time, like that's at least 100,000 people that I impacted with that magazine.
mhm.
And then with the book that I wrote with my ex husband, Smart Pickleball, that I think when I look at the numbers, I think we're at like at least 200,000 people that have been impacted by that. Like these are huge numbers. If you imagine a stadium of people, and
Mhm.
that's not count. And then the other things I wrote out were my newsletters, both for pickleball and for my business now. I mean, my small and growing YouTube channel, the online courses that I've created, and then not even. Oops, sorry. Not even talking about the people that I've in person connected with and don't really remember or know or how what something I said impacted them. And then there's also this, and I think about it with you, Beth, because if I just tell people about you, they feel inspired hearing about you. And that's like, that's
Aw.
just word of mouth. It's not even actually having direct impact with you or your work. It's just through me. And then you have
Aw.
your book, your trainings, videos, in person, word of mouth, right? Classes that you've taught,
Mhm. Public art.
and your art, right? That's the one that I missed, right? Because that was what really got me thinking about this was when we were working on your fundraiser for the Moby Dick painting
Mm.
in Santa Barbara, and how many people have, like, I don't even know, millions of people
Millions,
probably have
millions,
taken, yeah,
millions,
millions of people
millions
have
every year. Yeah.
taken their photos in front of your art that you don't know about.
I know. It's kind of a beautiful thought when you think about it that your life is spreading this ripple of beauty and satisfaction around the world. But to bring it back to your point of does that affect you? Yes, but it's interesting because it's like you're not really doing it for other people or for their joy necessarily. It has to do with that thing that you're talking about, which is constantly growing. And so it does affect your vibration and your vitality and your sparkliness. I know it affects my sparkliness that's going on. And yet it's all about this rather than that. And I think that's the kind of the reoccurring theme then that must be happening is that there's the external, but it's all about the constant radiation from this point out that, is the game, the journey.
I
God,
I
every time I
first
talk
wrote,
to you, all these
oh,
fun
go ahead.
things come out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, nothing. I'm ready for you.
I first wrote an article on this topic back in, I think, 2020 or so, a while back. And
Yeah.
but what I got to is that the secret to happiness might be surprisingly simple. I think it's what you and I really
Hmm.
focus on. Spending time doing what actually makes us happy on a daily basis. Like, instead of
Hmm.
postponing the happiness for, like, oh, well, I'm going to be happy when I get my book done, or I'm going to be happy when I get to this thing, and figuring out, like, what today, I mean, I say making happy your joyous everyday living for your book, but it's like
Thank you.
sometimes what's making me happy today is creating things that are going to have an impact on everybody, but I'm doing it because it makes me happy today.
That's right. Yeah. And actually, we can finish this topic, but I just want to I want to just segue into something that has come up around this recently in the last day or two as well. It's funny, you don't even think about the show, and then the content is always forming around it anyway. It's so in sync. But I have so many friends and people that I know are are on drugs for depression and anxiety and
Wait, you
all
muted
kinds
out.
of stuff.
Did, can you hear her, Amy?
I muted out.
Oh yeah, you just heard.
Yeah,
I
what?
just heard you have a lot of friends who are on drugs, and then that was where it cut out. But now you're back.
Yeah, I meant the kind that are, I mean, it's unbelievable how widespread it's like everybody for antidepressant, for anxiety, all kinds of medications. And I'm so curious about that because and I just had a talk with my daughter about it too, because I've always trained her from an early age that you feel your feelings and you make art. So you need to write about it, you write about it. You need to move out in nature, you go out in nature. You need to, think about it and feel it and find some way to process it. You make some visual art, you make some music, you listen to music. That that there's a these things are important. They're not like okay you've and so just I'm so about the power of art and the power of the journey that's what makes you those things make you happy when you take your crappy things and work through them and get to the other side. That's like a path to happiness instead of oh my god I can't feel that and suppressing it with something that it's not to me now it's very controversial for me to say this, but I know people need that, and I'm all for it if you need it, but I'm just saying in my experience that you it's like part of the best of life to take all that stuff and grow from it and learn from it and use modalities to process it. So it kind of has a little bit of a similar theme to what you're talking about, which is that it's all about what's going on within. That's really the crucial point. What do you think,
Well, and
Wendy?
taking what's inside and then using it to create something. And I can't
Yeah.
remember where I was hearing about it, but and I'm trying to think through if I totally agree, but somebody said that like the purpose of being human is to create things. And I'm like, is
Yes,
that true
it's
for
to
all
create.
creatures? Like
Yes.
ants build ant
Yes.
hills, like people, I don't know. We're here to create. And so
Create here to
it's
create.
easy to be like,
Yes.
oh, well, we created, so now we can rest. But it's really to keep that flow of life. It's a never ending fucking process. And I think that's what I do with
Yes.
my clients is helping
Yeah.
them look at like, okay, let's look at everything you've already created. Damn it, this is a new microphone setup. Let's look at everything you've already created and let's look at where like that aliveness inside of you is calling you to create next. And it doesn't mean we have to be perpetually creating because we have sometimes we have to rest in order to continue creating down the road. Like there's the rhythm of it, but this idea that because we have created something that has helped other people or entertained them or done anything for them, that that should be enough for us just isn't true.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I researched,
Uh, and then,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Nothing. I was just going to
Well, I
agree
was just
about,
gonna.
I just had, yeah. Yeah,
I think we
continue.
have
And
a
then,
slight. I think there's a slight delay on my end.
uh, go ahead, Wendy.
Well, when I was writing my article, I researched like some of the famous people who have like have it made, and then died by suicide, like
Mm-hmm.
Robin Williams, Anthony
Mm-hmm.
Bourdain, Whitney
Mm-hmm.
Houston,
Mm-hmm.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, Ernest
Mm-hmm.
Hemingway, Vincent van Gogh, Virginia Woolf,
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia Plath. Like there's just so many people who, by the external measures, won the game.
Yeah.
But on a daily basis, were not happy enough, did not have the like the vitamins and the minerals, the ingredients of a to make us a happy person in order to want to stick around.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I get that there, because somewhere there's a creative there. Are you like wanting to discover what kind is that about creativity, in a way, because everything's creative, and so we are here to create. That is my also my uh, knowing, and everyone creates differently. But the thing is, it's all about creating with your thoughts, right? And so I think that what happens is you can do a great work of art, but if you're creating with your thoughts down into a spiral of over and over how, terrible stuff, that your spirit can't thrive or live through that. So there's creating works of art
Right.
and creating buildings and creating systems and creating,
Well, I think in that way, Beth, you're sort of an
technologically.
anomaly. Like, there's
Yeah,
so much the typical idea of the like depressed and moody artist, and you
yeah.
are not that. You're
I
like the
did not
opposite of
chose
that.
that. I did not choose that model. I thought
Yeah.
that, because you know what? I don't think that's innovative. I think I think the purpose of art and artists is to innovate and to break through what has been and to break through crusty paradigms. And I just don't think that that's a source that I want to be fully alive and fully happy and move through anything challenging emotionally in life. I don't want to give that my power. I want to I want to use it as material to propel me forward into positive growth. So I feel like I mean, you wouldn't necessarily look at me like that from the outside and say, "Oh, yeah, she's a real radical artist." But I think the fact that I'm super happy and healthy is kind of radical.
Yeah,
So, because
and it makes me think about the fact that it's just the process of creating isn't necessarily enough. Like,
no,
yes, on the one hand, I think that is what makes can make us happy or excuse me, make us feel alive, but it's not enough.
not enough. I also think that some of these more famous artists have been really destroyed, been so sensitive, so unusually dynamic and new in their vibration that the business aspects of the world around them have been unbearable uh, for them to thrive in. You know, the outside world can be very cruel to people who are ultra sensitive and out there, and that's very hard to bear. And so, you know, maybe that's something I haven't had to deal with too much since I live in a small resort town where there's a lot of love and support. But I have experienced that still in my many years in the business of art. And I think when you get a bigger and more fame, that is something that you also have to learn to deal with, is the exertion of the destructive forces of the outer world that kind of want your innovation and then they want to kill you for innovating. Something to that
Yeah.
extent. That
And it's
also could be a challenge.
definitely. And I
Yeah.
think it makes me think about like when I think of it as a math equation, right? Like Jeff Bezos was trying to, damn it, sorry, was trying to um, create a business that was great for customers and great for profit. He was not solving to
Hmm.
figure out something that was great for employees. Like I wish he had been, but that wasn't one
No.
of the factors that he was solving for. And so when we're solving for like impact or money, which is what all of these famous people had, but we also need to solve for like the day-to-day aliveness and happiness in the moment. And I think that
Yes.
that gets harder, is what you're saying. The bigger your business is, the more people that depend on you, the more people Taylor Swift has sold tickets to go to her concert, like the less that that one factors in some way. Like it doesn't matter if she feels like going out and doing it this morning. She sold this many tickets and she's going to go do that. But to
Hmm.
me, like that's what I'm doing a lot of my work with my clients is be like, wait, this actually fucking matters. Like this,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying like I'm glad Taylor Swift had an end to that. Like she was committed to doing the what Eras tour for the year, and I don't know what's coming next, but I know that like somewhere she has to be able to come back to like, well, what do I want now,
Hmm.
right?
What do I want now? Yeah. Ah, that's always the question. And then, you know, I think I don't know a lot about her, but I did I do have respect for her. And I think that, you know, she's very devoted to creating, and she loves her career, and she'll figure out what's next. But it's a constant game. Who am I now? That's why you and I are both very um, overlapping in how we help our clients in that game. Who am I now? That ever shifting thing. Like, okay, I've grown to this point. How am I going to cast this off, my old identity, keep my happiness, and move to the next place of aliveness? It's a really never ending process. So I know you have
Another
lots of.
thing,
That's one of your main intentions, isn't it, Wendy? For your clients to have, isn't, you mentioned that in your introduction, to have them really find where they are at the moment and put that into their business uh,
yeah.
picture
Um,
and all. So,
another thing that I was thinking about in the realm of why we don't feel the impact of our work in the
oh
world
yes,
is because we we don't have a culture to express that gratitude in general. And like, so for example, like
Oh, yeah.
how many books have changed my life? How many of those have I written to the author to tell them that they changed my life? Like, I don't know if I have it all. Maybe one or two or
Mm,
something, not very many. And I think that I realize that when we shift into a more
interesting.
scalable model, the more leveraged the thing that we're creating is, the more insulated we become from the impact of that. Like if I just have one book and I give it to you,
Say
you're going
that
to read
again.
it and you're going to come back and you're going to talk to me
Yeah.
about how it changed you. But when I have 100,000 books and I give them out to
Hmm.
100,000 people, I'm probably not going to hear back. Not much. Not after the first 10.
Wow. Well, maybe you better put together a little group, a little place on your book. Hey, talk to me. I mean, I'm all about interaction. I think
Right.
interaction is it. It's like what makes everything delicious. That's why I love like the whale because everyone interacts with it. This piece of art on the wharf, and I think you've hit something there that I hadn't really thought of. But the reason that we do everything is the interaction. So I mean, maybe you need we have to get an interactive like little thing on the YouTube channel that you do like, hey, make sure you tell us how you feel about the book that you read or how you feel about we said or talk about yourself
I
in
think,
relation to that.
yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we can invite more of. And I think that that happens more. But I also
More
think
invite
that
more
it's
of,
something
yes.
that you and I are building a business model around because yes, I have a group program, but it's not an infinitely large group program. It's a limited
Mm-hmm.
scope. Like there's a limited number of people so that I can stay connected to them. And so
Mm,
I am feeling the impact of working with them because
yes.
I'm able to keep them close because there's not so many. So it's sort of like
Yeah.
having this balance where like yes, we can have these wide arcing impacts on people, but in on a given day, it's like how do we impact one person today and that's actually going to make us happier. Like when you talked to the guy down at the wharf the other day and heard about how the
Yeah.
whale impacted him.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes you
Yeah.
happy more than knowing that a theoretical 1,000 people took pictures down there.
Well, that is true. I guess you just have to know inside yourself. Take what take the acknowledgement that you get and just really realize that that's exponential, that expands and that's expansive, and fill yourself with that appreciation. Uh, like make sure, wow, because I know sometimes I get like, oh, I'm not appreciated for all the stuff I do and blah blah blah, but maybe that's another way to have creative healthy consciousness is to go like, gosh, I was appreciated. I appreciate myself that I did all this and I know that it's creating beauty in the world. And I don't, yeah, and just uh, keep feeding yourself. But I mean, that's another thing. Actually, I just want to throw that out is that whole another key to happiness besides all the your diet and your movement and your creativity and all this is that you stay joined with others. And that's why I think these online groups that we're doing are so crucial. It's so important for people to meet and express together in groups. There's somehow the exchange is a natural human function, like we're tribal or something. So,
Eh,
yeah, I don't know
interesting.
how you get a massive group or everybody to express how they feel to you for your impact. But, maybe we need to take more responsibility. Maybe I need to not need, but go like, wow, I've done great things in the world. I know that they're beautiful. I don't know who I've impacted, but I'm going to allow that to just nourish every cell in my body and let me do something else that's beautiful and sweet and wonderful and um, that adds to I don't know,
It
or
almost
reflects
feels
the
like,
best parts
it,
of
or I
life.
was going to say like basking in the glow of these
Asking.
beautiful things that we've created.
Hmm.
and that we don't
Instead of
usually take
lack, I
time to
always
do
get
that.
like, it's so much easier to be in a state of lack than it is abundant. I shouldn't say that. That's not true. I don't mean that. I mean that it has been my habit that it's much easier for me to feel unacknowledged than to completely drench myself in the self love of like, wow, that was good, and it's either one person or a million people. That's still cool. You put love out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I
Bask
think
in it. Yeah.
like when you were talking about online connection, like it is great, and I've
Mhm.
been, I have people that I'm connecting with all day, every week. But this week, I was almost in tears when you were talking about having the group connection because or online connection, because it's also so critical to have it in person. And right now, I'm fucking stuck in Florida where my kids ended up in the divorce, and I don't have anybody here in person. And it's like online connection can go
Aw.
so far, but we are all really hungry
Yeah.
for like the level of emotional connection that I get from my people, virtual or in person, is pretty incredible. And most people probably,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't get that at all. But getting that
Mhm.
virtually is not the same as having it in
Mm.
person. And so I think that to me, part of our evolving business model in the future is, yes, having the online community, but also gathering in person because it's different. It's different. We know.
Then we have to have retreats.
I
Yay!
know. I say
In
all
my
that and then I'm
beautiful
like, oh, I hate.
backyard in Santa
Oh no,
Barbara.
live events.
Live
But
events. Yay.
what is it? Yeah.
So, and then, of
Well, I think also what I
course,
want are live
you've
events. I don't
been
want to be in a live.
so mobile. You've gone from coast to coast. It's very hard for to, yeah.
I think maybe I'm lagging.
You
One of
also
us is
what?
lagging. Um,
I, oh, there you go.
I
So
lost my train of
you
thought,
also
but it
what?
seems
Say
like
it, Wendy.
there was. Amy, can you tell if
It's
it's a
just like,
lag
well, I was
on my
saying that
part
you
or her
went
part?
from coast to coast.
I don't know.
I don't
Um,
know, but you've been so. Shall I start now, Wendy? I mean,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
you've been so uh, fragmented with from coast to coast and getting the children settled and all the legalities that you have to be in one place a bit to get that community around you. I've been in Santa Barbara so long and I know so many people, and it's such a village of richness that it's just very easy to and I've known people so long, I've been here so long, there's so much interaction all the time. There's always an event. There's always something to do and someone to do it with. It's very special. So I'm extremely fortunate that that's taken care of. But it's because I've been in one place that is very social and very rich in its culture. And so, if you stay in Florida little by little, you'll probably develop more connection. But I think you hit on another point that's extremely important, um, which is that human connection. Because that when I was talking to this friend of mine who's on an antidepressant, and I'm not dissing it at all, but his son and his daughter, they're all taking different forms of it. Just saying his son on his phone, on social media, playing games. There, it's very disconnected from what's basically human, and you really cannot be happy completely just living in an isolated sort of electronic world. So it's also crucial to the well-being, that point that you brought up about personal interaction. And be off the air. Oh, there, we're back. Yeah, so a book club or whatever, going out dancing, or I don't know. you have to nourish that too.
I asked my kids to get off the Wi-Fi, so maybe
Wendy,
there
are
will
you
be some.
there?
Yes, can you hear me now? I asked my kids to get off the Wi-Fi, so
Oh,
hopefully
that could be it.
it'll be better. Um, I think it makes sense that, I mean,
So yeah,
obviously
so I was
people
talking
can
about
build
personal connection.
more community when they're grounded in one spot. However, the other way that I used to get community was when I had my van. Well, and even the one time I've met you in person, Beth, was when I was RVing around the
Yeah,
country. Like personally, I really love that
yeah.
model of like
Uh,
pulling up and parking in somebody's driveway who I adore and then getting to spend quality time with them one on one and then moving on somewhere else after a while. So I think there's different approaches to get it. I think I'm just having a rough week right now here.
there's
And
different
also I
approaches.
think
Yes,
that
of course.
there's different people in different
Oh,
places
yeah.
and it's easier to find like-minded
Yeah.
people in some places than others. Wow, it must be a really bad lag.
I can't hear you. Are you there? There you go.
Can you hear me? You can talk.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if I was waiting for
Okay.
what I had already said to
Oh, I was
play for
waiting
you,
for
but
you. I thought,
we
oh, no, I was waiting for you. Were talking about something, different approaches to getting that nourishment
yeah.
of you know,
So I think the
people.
main thing is like looking at no matter how many people we've impacted, again, coming
Hmm.
back to like, what do we need today to be
Mm-hmm.
happier, well nourished, well resourced? And then the thing that I'm always love doing with my clients too is like figuring out what's the next practical step in the direction of
Mm.
what you really want to create.
That's
So,
a great service. Who doesn't need that? Let's face it.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
think it does. uh, I mean, this question of what somebody posted, what would you say is the mark of a successful woman? I don't know why we would distinguish from a successful woman versus a successful human being. But again, to me, it comes back like, I don't know, it's complex. Is it impact? Is it money? Is it happiness? Is it the
I think
richness of
it's
the moments of our life?
I think it's the joy that you feel, and I think the joy that you feel navigating through life is the highest level of success, and um, and then there's lots of layers down, but it's absolutely that. I think that feeling of appreciation of being alive and oh, the wonder and the satisfaction and the excitement and the expectation and the like, okay, this moment may not be perfect, but there's always room to open, and just where your consciousness is the largest success, and then everything else comes from that is what I would put out. And it is a little bit different for a woman, I think, just in that women are often put themselves last more, and they often have a huge. They may be caregiving more to both parents and children, and have a career and try to be evolving and taking care of themselves. So it's possible in this culture that there is a slight distinction. It is a human, but women have just a slightly different more challenges. They may be dealing with glass ceilings and in their work and
I wonder
stuff.
if
So
the mark of a successful woman, person, either way, is
yeah.
someone who feels that success, who like
Oh,
basks
right.
in it, who can
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yes. That's abundance. That's satisfaction in the moment. And that's
And
where
it's
everything else grows from.
and
Exactly,
then that
Wendy. Wow.
feeling, like the feeling of basking in that success, whether it's like
Yes.
a small thing like like I finally managed to fix my glasses and got the little screw in the little hole. Whether it's like the smallest freaking measure of success or impacting hundreds of thousands of people, that feeling of appreciating my
Mm.
success is pretty much the same. And either I'd have it or I don't.
God, that's yes. 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 And that just circles all the way back around. Just feeling the pleasure and the abundance of the moment, and letting things unfold from there. And I think that's a brilliant practice. I want to remember that. Just yeah. And we've kind of we've slipped in and out of that topic like that since we've been talking today. It's like, oh, appreciate what I have or what is, or appreciate the one person, or feel my success. That's sort of the gold that surfaced from our whole talk this morning. It's so
I think
fascinating.
another piece is this gap between where we are and where we want to be or what we want to
Uh-huh.
create or what we want to have.
Oh yeah.
And I think a
Yes.
lot of times that gap is a reason that people feel frustrated or upset because they're not there yet. Where I feel like the way that I hold it is often more, it's not about what's on the other side of the gap. It's like there's always going to be a gap. So it's like it doesn't bother me that there's a gap because it feels kind of fun. It's like I know that I'm going to make progress and what's on the other side
Mm.
of the gap is going to change. So it doesn't bother me that I'm not there yet. But what you were saying at the beginning, you said something where it really is like, how do we be happy with what we have today and also be at peace with our desire for
Hmm.
more? And that's kind of the gap. Like, how do we be happy with what we have and enjoy the fact that there is a fucking gap and life doesn't get boring? And we always are going to have a direction to move into if we listen to ourselves. But not that the
Mm.
fact that there's a gap means
Absolutely.
that there's something wrong with you or that you didn't do a good enough job on everything else that you've done so far.
Exactly. Well, desire is endless. It's what really keeps us alive. I believe, like, oh, it's a something to bring you to the next place, so that you're continuously on that journey in the moment, you know. But it's not going to stop. I mean, there's always going to be the next thing, and maybe when it stops is when you're done. You're done with life. So, but that is the hardest part. That's the hardest part for me, because and you've had some mastery of it, is to not live in the lack of what I haven't created yet. But it's just so complex when you think about it. But it's not. It's simple. That the moment is fulfilled, and then every moment forward is fulfilling as you go to that next place of desire that will unfold. But it won't unfold if you're missing it all the time, if your consciousness is focused in what you don't have. So,
Yeah. It's
and
a
I
little bit
think
like
that
with
we are also
kids.
really trained culturally.
Uh,
Yeah, we're
it's a little bit
trained
like
really
with,
to be not enough, and
damn
not
it.
that there's not enough. Kids,
Yeah.
kids, how so?
Right. That there's not, that we're trained that there's not
What we're
enough.
going to
There's
say
other
about kids?
ways when we think about having kids, like when you have the baby and you're like, oh, it's going to be easier when they're in diapers, or oh, it's going to be easier when they can talk and tell me what's the matter with them. Or it's like there's always this gap of thinking, like, oh, well, it's going to be easier then. But it never really, it's just a change, it's a
Mm,
moving target. And so it's like, again, how do we appreciate
it's
what
a
they are
moving
now?
target.
How do we find compassion for ourselves with what we're dealing with now and figure out what makes us happy now rather than waiting till, oh, well, they can walk, right? Like that makes anything easier.
So it's just, do you think that it's just a practice then, right? It's just a practice of
It really
realizing,
is.
oh, I've made myself unhappy, or I put myself in a state of lack about what I don't have. Let me just like go in a state of, let me come on back to appreciating what I do have and enjoy it. And what is that thing? Is like the best spot to be in is satisfaction with what is, and positive expectation about what is to come or what you know will come. And um, yeah.
Another way
And
that I've
I
heard
guess you have to have faith that things change. Yes, go ahead.
is high possibility, low expectation. And I don't mean it in like a
Oh, that's
negative way, but it's
interesting.
like
Yeah.
if we're expecting everything to change tomorrow and then it doesn't, we're disappointed. But if we know that
Hmm.
everything can change tomorrow, it might, and it might not. Like just to not have this attachment to how things are going to be, but to be open to the
Yeah.
possibilities of what could be.
Yeah, that's such a peaceful place to live. I want to get good at that. I do. I might be I think getting
Yeah.
better at it than I've ever been, that's for sure. Because, I mean, it just feels so good to not be on that edge of self created anxiety all the time.
Yeah.
Although there are things to be anxious about. But again, there's so much choice in where you can put your thoughts, you know. And,
I'm thinking that even before Amy just suggested we could take a movement break, I would like to go
uh-huh.
take a quick bathroom break and then come back and then have you lead us in some movement activity that I have no idea what the hell it's going to be, but I'm sure it'll be fun.
Okay. Okay, that sounds awesome. I would love that. And then I just have to move my laptop to over where there's more room for movement. Just
Yeah,
take me a few minutes. So, shall we
that's
take a
okay.
little?
We have a
Um,
little video we can put up for the middle.
okay,
Should it be
sounds
2 minutes
perfect.
or
'Cause
10 minutes is what
how
are our
about
times, Amy? Do you remember? I mean, you know.
I could use a little snack and a little moving my
Okay,
laptop
so
and
let's
stuff.
do our longer.
Won't it doesn't.
is for the entrepreneur who has checked off enough of the boxes that were supposed to make you happy to realize that that kind of happiness is fleeting, if you feel it at all. So, this membership community is a place to slow down and take stock of what truly matters to you and get inspiration and practical strategies to build a life in the direction of your heart's calling. The membership community is called the Get Sold Life Membership Community. And unlike just about every other membership program you'll find on the internet, it's designed so that I can get to know everyone in it personally. I want to know you well enough to be able to celebrate your wins and help you face your challenges from the perspective of someone who knows what you've been through and who gets what it means for you to be there. So that's why I'm only opening up 10 spots per month, and every single person who joins is going to get a 90-minute one-on-one call with me to really drop in and get to know each other. At the partnership level, not only will you get the one-on-one welcome call with me, but we will get together every 6 to 8 weeks for another one-on-one 90-minute call to really drop in and check in about what challenges you're facing, what wins you've had, and to help you strategize the practical next steps for you to be taking. That's in addition to everything that is included at the community member level. So as a community member, you'll get access to our community chat threads where I'll share posts on a daily basis about everything from like which lover I'm spending time with this week and what we're talking about, to the latest book that I can't stop telling everyone about, to what trends I see in authentic marketing and all sorts of other things. Anything that I think would be helpful or supportive to you, I share it there. You'll also get access to my entire resource library, weekly asynchronous office hours, where once a week you submit your questions through audio memo or text, and I'll respond to you when I have time during that day. You'll also get access to a monthly Q&A call with me and weekly reminders to send me an update about how you're really doing and what's really going on in your life. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of this YouTube Live, and I hope that you are finding more connection, clarity, aliveness, and freedom in your life day by day, year by year. So whether you are or you're not, stick around. I'll be back on this live in just a minute, and I'm so happy to connect with you, and I would love to have you join the membership. We don't have Beth yet, back yet. So here I am standing doing my killing time by myself. I guess Amy's gonna text Beth, aren't you, Amy? And hey, if you're watching the recording, stretch. Why not? I think a big, yeah, it's just like movement and connecting to our bodies on a daily basis and what makes our body feel more alive. Again, it's so simple, but it's like those are the things that actually make us happier on a daily basis than knowing that we sent an email out to 100,000 people. Here she is on her way back. I almost held the ground for us, Beth, while I was waiting for you. But
Hi.
I'm no joyous movement instructor.
Hello. Can you see me? Hold on. Right, I got to turn this.
Live to a standing live. So I can show you.
I'm
I can
wondering
show you
if
my
you
whole
can
setup.
see my body. Probably not.
I moved my computer
What?
over here. I'm just killing time till you're ready. Are you ready? I'm just
How
showing
much
the
of my
setup here because this is the first
Wendy?
time
Can
that
you
I've
see
moved.
my body at all?
Pretty well. I'm seeing, the problem is I'm looking at my phone. Yeah, up to about your thighs.
Not my legs, though, right? Can I
Next
could
time
move
we'll
the
probably
couch.
have
Can you
these
see
things
my
figured out
legs at
first, but
all?
not this time.
Can
Not
you?
very
I'm gonna
well.
just move this.
Good
Yeah,
thing we
so
don't
I can get
practice
back to photographing.
perfection. Good thing we practice being real. Life's a lot easier that way, in case you didn't know.
Okay, now I can get
What
back
else?
further. Can you see more of me?
I can't.
Hi. Okay. All right. I'm backing up, backing up. Let's see if I can get a little more of me in there. How's that? Better? No, that should go up. Right. I don't know how much of me you can see. Royalty free dance music. Okay, I just have to know if you can see me and you can hear me. How we doing with seeing and hearing, everybody? Can you?
I can
Okay,
see.
here's where I am. Can you see me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I hope somebody else is laughing like this because it's a little bit silly.
Hi, how's that going? Good? All
Yeah,
right.
go for it.
Well, let's get started. I've got some royalty-free music here that probably could use a little. We'll just get started with it. Okay, we're going to warm up first, everybody. And I hope you can hear me well enough and hear this music. And this is our first podcast musical adventure. So I'm really excited about
On
it.
our YouTube live.
First thing, let's check out our posture. Shift your weight slightly from one foot to the other, getting a feeling of your weight shifting. I want you to pull your tummy in, lift your chest, shoulders back and down. Let's get a nice posture. Just gently shift your weight and get a sense of your body. Okay, I'd like you to open up now as wide as you can and breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out, slightly shifting your weight. Palms up, touch the back of your hands, stretch as high as you can and breathe out. Warming up, now make some big circles all the way around. And we're going to come through the center of our body now and go all the way around as we gently breathe in and breathe out, getting a warm up. Now, palms in front, all the way up. Breathing in and breathing out. If you do nothing all day, but just take these deep breaths, opening up the body, you're going to feel good. All right. We're going to gently reach out now, turn our body. As we reach to the front, pull in whatever you want. Push out, pull in. Yes. Good. Notice I'm doing a slight pivot in my feet as I reach forward and back, gently warming up the body. Now we're going to go over to the side, do a few little pulses on the side. Good. And the other way. Nice pulse. Good. Whoa, come all the way around from your upper body, warming up gently. And let's go the other way, all the way around. Good. A little bit more stretching, and then we'll warm up our legs. I like you to put one arm out. Bring the other to meet it and open up. you open your heart, your lungs, your lymphatics, your whole circulation. You are open. And it feels so good. Open. Good. Coming all the way around now, bending the knees, engaging your lower body ever so slightly. Breathing in and breathing out, and breathing in and breathing out. Yay! Feeling a little warmed up? Are you ready to get your legs warmed up? Let's do it. Okay, so getting a little rhythm, it's just slightly bending the knees. And remember, do this at your own pace. If I'm going too fast, you can just do it slower. Do it at your own level. All right, let's get our legs warmed up. We're going to have a slight bend in the knees, having some rhythm. And I want you to lift that knee up a little bit, warming up the legs. Just lift up and have the opposite hand go forward. Good. And now just a little kick. I'm going to do it a little slower. Good. All right, let's extend our stance. Feet pointed out. Just a little bend there, not too deep, just like a sit. We're opening up. Now point that toe down, toe pointed. Still warming up the legs before we do our dance moves. Oh yeah, feels good. It feels alive. Bend the knees, straight one leg, point the toe. Bend, straight the leg, point the toe. So you're shifting your weight. Yeah, that's it. Pull that tummy in tight. And we're getting our legs all warmed up. I want you to turn to the side. We're going to do a slight lunge now, very small. From lifting the back heel and my knees over my ankle in the front. We're just warming up our legs so we can do dance moves. Now pivot and give me the other side. Heel coming up, back, heel going down, stretching the calf, and strengthen our thighs. Yeah, okay, legs are warmed up. Just stop. Let's see. I guess our song is going to come forward. Oh, it's still going. All right, so let's watch our posture, holding the tummy. Give a slight kick. And now I would like you to take that leg on a little bit of a circular path so that you get our hip joints warmed up and our inner thighs and our glutes get warmed up. There's that dance speed again. Wow, I feel that. You can go slower if you like. Go the other way a little bit. And this way a little bit. Okay. Not bad. So we're going to finish our warm-up with just a little bit of hip action. Again, posture, chest lifted, tummy in, shoulders back and down. And I'd like you to extend your hip a little to the side. And use your hand to push it if you like. Because we're going to be getting these groovy hips, swinging things going on. Can you feel it? I'm not using my knees, but I'm just having my legs go side to side. My hips go side to side. Yes. Feel that? Right through the core. Okay, that's going to allow us to create lots of dance moves. And there we have our warm-up is done. Let's just do a little bit of dancing here. And we will, I don't know what I put on this thing. And then we'll call it oh, that's a nice soft song. We'll cool down to that one. We're going to get jiggy with it. And then we'll have a cool down, and that'll be our dance experience today. So here we go. We're all warmed up. Okay. Shift your weight one side to the other. Front, that. Okay, the pattern is we're going to just rock forward, be in place, rock back, place. Each one in place, forward, place, back, place. Now you can give it as much as you want or as little as you want.
I don't think she can hear me. I'll just dance how I want to dance.
Let's add our hips. The way you add your hips is every time you feel the weight of your body, engage with the floor, you push your hip past like we did in our warm-up. So I step forward, engage my hip, in place, engage my hip, rock back, press my hip past the weight, and just do the same. And then we have this groovy dance move. Add your arms and you have a full body motion. Get jiggy with it. Let's try the other side. Are you ready? Front, place, rock, back, place, front, place. If your arms are too much, just do your feet. Just do your feet. You want to add your hips, extend the hips with your foot hips. You want to add your arms to your rotation. You got a full body motion. You can do that small, sharp. My shoulders are going up to my ears. Okay, one more step. Step, together, step, touch, step, together, step, touch. You can keep it small or make it big. Rock of the pelvis or just keep it simple.
It's so leggy.
Yeah, a little cheeky. It's a 4 count.
I'll talk more once Beth can hear me. I don't think she can hear me now.
1, 2, 3, touch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, just one. So I'm just doing a step together, step.
I can't see her.
Slow it down. You need to make it simpler. You can reach and pull. Part together. Part together. Part together. Take it up. Woo! All right, we're getting jiggy with it. Do your own thing here. Do your own thing. Whatever feels good. Arms up. Hips. Take it slow if you want. Up. Up. Pull into the sides. Up. Pull into the sides. We're going to cool down so that this song ends. Pull out. Pull in. Up. Out. Up. Out. Slow it down if you need to. Yeah. I'm feeling speedy. Combining is really good for coordination. A step, touch, with pulling in from the sides and the front. That's the move.
I'm off leggy and she's frozen for me, so if I don't follow along, that's mostly why.
Forward and take a deep breath. You did it. All right, let's have our cool down with Rain Road here. And woof, okay, just a little taste, just a little taste. I'm certainly hoping you can see my whole body. We might have to work on that. I want you to just gently keep moving, and we're going to cool it all down. We're moving to the side and touching the toe, reaching out, bending the knees, breathing. This is where we started. Bend the knees, breathe. Bending the knees and breathing. Bending the knees. Okay. I want want you to put your arms behind your back. Open up. Come on down if you can. Remember to do everything at your own pace. I want you to stretch that upper body up. Expand your capacity for oxygen. And, okay, let your arms go. I want you to bring your one arm across the shoulder to stretch, one arm across to stretch. Let's bring our hands to the side and the side. I'd like you to come down slowly at whatever point works for you. If you can only go down this far, good. If you can go all the way down, great. Wiggle your bottom. Round it up, one vertebrae at a time, very slowly. Let's just do a nice neck. Very slow rotation. And the opposite direction, a slow rotation. And then we're going to do 3 nice, beautiful deep breaths together. Watch our posture, tummy's in. We're going to breathe in and exhale down. And we're going to breathe in. And let's go the opposite direction. And down. And yay, you did it. Good job. You should yelling, like that. Can
you hear me, Beth?
Hello, everybody. Good job. Thank you, my tech
Can you
people.
hear me yet?
What?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me yet?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, thank you.
Could you do it? Could you see me?
Yeah, it mostly worked. There was some laggy and it was a little, it worked out fine, but we'll do better next time. But I had a question. Have you ever, when we were doing the thing on one foot?
Yes.
When I went to brain therapy, they had a stand up, and not everybody can do it, but stand on one foot and then do a figure 8 with your leg. Like these are one of the best exercises you can do for your brain, is to like do a figure 8 and then switch it in the other direction also. And then they have us do figure 8s with your hand and your leg in opposite directions like this. This side is pretty easy for me to go either way.
Yes.
But this side is, well, I've practiced this a lot, so it's easier. But it's very difficult the first few times you do it. But it's one of the best things you can do for your brain. Who knew?
Yes.
So anyhow, I just wanted to point it out while we were standing in our studio positions.
Absolutely. I love that. We'll put that in there. Good job.
So,
great.
I'm going to sit down and switch to my other microphone, and then we can keep talking and debrief.
Yeah, I should move my, I don't know if you can, if I'm right here, can you see me? This is where the lighting isn't good. I'll need to move my laptop again. So I'll do that.
The thing about something like that is it's a lot more impactful when you do it than when you just watch it. Turns out.
There we go. I'm going to bring my laptop back.
No matter how many exercise videos I do, I always feel better when I actually do them.
You can see me.
But I was thinking about how much our lives get segmented. Oh, wait till she has her headphones on and she can hear me better. What the hell is this green screen she's got? She has a living room appearing in her sweater. Oh, not the best thing to play with. Maybe is this an ASMR video? No.
Hello.
Hi. I was just talking about how much better it is to like do those things than to watch those things.
I'm back.
Can you hear me?
What do you mean do? Yeah. Do what things then watch them?
Like if I were just watching this video and you're like, watch us do these things, it seems kind of, I don't know, just is what it is. It's like, what's the big deal? You're just swinging your arms around and dancing back and forth. But then it's like, oh, our bodies have gotten activated a little bit. Like we've alivened our body in a way that it wasn't 10 minutes ago. And while we were doing it, I was thinking about how often
Yeah, I feel so
we
much better. I feel
separate.
alive.
Yeah, me too. And I think about how often we separate, and even you and I do this, where it's like, okay, we have our business meeting, and then like fun is supposed to happen elsewhere, or exercise is supposed to happen elsewhere. And I mean, it just like exercise helps our brain. It would help our business meetings to do more of this. It's why I've been excited to be collaborating with you and
Oh my
do more
God,
of this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why in every one of my online courses, we always have a movement segment at the end. We just dance at the end. And I would love to get it technologically better so you could see my whole body and,
Yeah.
hear some
This was pretty good. I mean, it
music
was
and
just
so on, but
yesterday
we'll
that we
do
just
that.
it was just yesterday we decided to do this live together. And it was like an hour
I know, but
before
I'm
that I
so
was
excited.
prepping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
so happy we did it, Wendy, because I feel, I don't know, that's when I'm in my extra special element.
Yeah, I know. It's your
dance,
gift.
when we're
Just
moving.
1 second. I'm grabbing my phone because I want to. I'm sick of this. Shit. Should I end our whole stream?